Hello everybody and welcome back to another Minecraft Let's Play episode. Today, I got some stuff planned. I got some pretty big stuff planned, but first, I've been busy. I've been a busy guy, you know. I yeah, take a look around. Take a look around. A lot of this stuff is all nice and done. This corridor. I wanted to get as much of this done as I could off camera just because it was a lot of repetition and figuring stuff out and going back and forth, but I think I like it. This is definitely probably the biggest like interior work that I've ever had to do, and obviously it's not fully done yet, but yeah, we have these sections which I showed you guys last time. We saw last time. I just finished it off and buttoned it up and everything. We have this spiral staircase which goes up to the second floor. We're gonna fit some of the brewing villagers in these spots. We got the farmer villagers in this spot. Initially, I was gonna just sort of have the same, not the same hallway design, but the same sort of footprint, just going all the way around. But then I realized, oh, I should be showing this whole mechanism that works, the whole swapping of the villagers, because it looks cool. It a cool little redstone thing, even though it's screwed up a couple times, which is why some of these guys are doubled up. But it's cool. So I need to raise the ceiling in this area. So I'm still not 100% certain about how I feel about this, but I think it's good enough for now. And then we've got this area with some mangrove, and believe it or not, I did actually intentionally use netherrack in a build. Who would have thought that that would be possible? But yeah, and then over here, we've got this little stairway down to the sugarcane drop off, and then we've got the switch to turn on the copper mine carts. This is the switch to actually turn it on to make it go. We're gonna have a little outlook area over to the entire thing, and then you wrap around here. Won't show the second floor just yet. And then we come down here over on this side. It's pretty much just mirrored the exact same thing. Same deal over here, except not a fancy spiral staircase. And then pretty much the same thing on this side, but with different types of villagers over here. I didn't want to do like another staircase or spiral staircase, so I figured slime blocks, why not? And up here, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on. So these are all the mine tracks that go to all the different villager locations. So the reason for all the redstone is I've got this, so that's the portal that they all come through, and they can get picked up on a minecart and they come over here, and then I have a bunch of levers which are basically, okay, where do I want to send them? So it looks super complicated, but it's really just single lines of redstone going to different intersections that flip-flop the turns and the rail lines. So it sounds more complicated than it actually is, but so we've got the farmers, the librarians, the stonecutter guys, the potions on this side, and then the potions on that side. Then we got the blast furnace guys, the grindstone guys, and the smithing table guys. So if by default, if none of them are switched, it defaults to the potion area. But if I say I want to go to the librarians, yeah, all of these switched, so that it just goes straight down that way. As much as I wanted to just leave this all like chaos, mess kind of thing, I do want to make it look at least a little appealing. So I've kind of got this sort of modern chic thing. I think I'm going to be going with some quartz, that I just have a rough layout, but I think I want a lot of the walls to be glass, at least the areas where, you know, you can see a lot of redstone going on, because I was nice and organized. I made all the lines be different colors, so it looks pretty cool. It does look pretty cool. But yeah, that thing is coming along pretty well, and I think one of the other things we're going to do today is we're going to start working on this bridge. So I no longer want it to be just this floating farm thing. I want it to actually be this cool bridge with arches. And I do have a design picked out that I think is going to look pretty cool. But we have been doing a lot of building lately. We've been doing a lot of building. And even though I don't consider myself a builder per se, I've been doing it a lot and I've been really enjoying it. But I do also enjoy doing some of the more technical redstone-y bits. And it's been a while since I've done that. Well, I guess I did do this, but this was pretty straightforward. I'm in the mood for a more technical project today. So I think what we're going to do, if I head on over this way, we're going to do something that I'm in desperate need of, which is a shulker farm. We're going to try to build a shulker farm in the end, and we're going to see how it goes. I got all the resources already set up for it. So I guess now at this point, I just need to go find one. Aha, yeah, so there are some reasons as to why I want a full, big, legitimate shulker farm, and that is to finally figure out a gigantic one-and-done storage system that works for bulk storage, shulker organization, all that fun stuff, all in one. I almost said simple. It's not really simple, but in one reasonably uncomplicated space. So this looks insane, right, at first glance. And let me tell you what, it's not quite as complicated as it looks at first glance. So right off the bat, initially, oh, it looks like one of them may have broke. That might be in the wrong spot. This guy, I think, might supposed to be there. Okay. Anyway. Yes. So this looks a lot more complicated, I think, than it actually is. And I have the audio muted just because otherwise you'd be hearing this thing clicking nonstop. But it looks a little bit more complicated than it actually is. So let me break it down. This probably, if you're like a really crazy redstoner, this probably looks atrocious to you, and I don't care. I thought of it, came up with it. Obviously there are components to it that obviously aren't my design. Everyone knows shulker loaders, unloaders, dropper elevators, all that fun stuff, but it looks pretty complicated, but it's not. So, or if I explain it in detail, maybe it won't be. So you've got your typical standard item sorter. So you got your items and then just some filler stuff. So that sorts through the items that come down the water stream. And those items filter down into a shulker loader. So items will load, well, it's kind of intuitive, but it'll load into a shulker box. And once it's full, it'll break. And the full shulker of just that one item will come down into this barrel. Oh, huh. Yeah, okay. That's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be like that. So the full shulkers come down into a shulker unloader. And that shulker unloader just filters down into this barrel and that hopper. This is where all the bulk storage is going to take place. Is inside, this hopper, that, and that hopper. What'll happen is the shulker will unload the items, and these will slowly start to fill up with whatever the item is until all of this stuff is full, and then it can't unload the shulker anymore just because there's not enough room. So this will clog, I guess is the best way of putting it, but it'll stop breaking shulker boxes, right? Because it can't fully unload them, so they're just going to sit there half full. So this barrel will just fill with full entire shulker boxes. So that's essentially where the bulk storage is going to lie. So you're going to have a full, what is this, 27 shulker boxes filled, each of them with 27 stacks of whatever items. So that's quite a bit of bulk storage, I guess. Plus you got this extra 5 here. So you've got a lot of stuff. You've got a lot of stuff. Plus the shulker that's actively in there actually also. And then plus these and plus that barrel and plus that. So you've got a lot of storage. So as far as bulk storage goes, I think that's covered. So once the shulker box is unloaded fully, the piston will break it and it will push it over to the side here, and it'll follow this hopper chain over to this dropper elevator, which will bring it back up into the shulker loader. So it'll just constantly be recycling the same shulker box. So honestly, I probably only really need, no, I need a lot actually. I want a lot because I want to fill this. I want this to be able to be full shulker boxes. Because if I really want to, I can just add a chest onto the end of these and just fill that chest with empty shulker boxes, and that'll flow down into this. Okay, yep, that's a pretty easy remedy. So that's sort of the main storage aspect of it. And then we have this system over here, which will detect whether or not there are items in this barrel. So if there are items in this barrel, then that will deactivate this piston, moves this redstone block. So this light will be off. This is sort of like an indicator light. If there aren't enough items in the system, whichever item doesn't have enough will light up. And that will also come down to here. We'll activate this redstone line, and we'll come down here and activate, or should I say deactivate, this redstone rail. So basically, a minecart with a chest is going to run down here, and every time it runs by, it's going to pick up exactly one item from each sorting system. And that basically means that a single minecart with a chest is going to have one item from every single sorting area. I don't really know what to call these. And then that will go down the line, and that will filter into a shulker box. For each shulker box I want organized, I will have 27 of these items in the system. It would be, what is that, like 54? Yeah, 54 blocks long for each shulker box. Since it is tileable. That was probably a terrible explanation. Yeah, but whatever 27 times 27 is, that's how many items we're going to have sorted in this entire sorting system, and that's how many cells we're going to have in the entire system. Oh man, about 700 items. That's what that comes out to. So about 700 of those item sorting cells is, oh, what the heck? Okay, there we go. So there are a couple bottlenecks I can immediately think of. Number one, 700 of those cells, that is going to be a lot of resources, a lot of redstone, a lot of slime blocks, a lot of observers, a lot of droppers, a lot of pistons, all that fun stuff, a lot of hoppers. Luckily, I think we have a fair amount of, I guess, what would you call it? Structure the word I'm looking for? I don't think it is. I don't know. Maybe editing me will pop in and correct myself. Infrastructure. 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 Okay. I said it so many times, I felt like I was saying it wrong. That was weird. I think we have enough infrastructure in place to support most of it, or at least getting one cell done, or one shulker box loader cell worth. So 27 of those individual sorting cells. So maybe I'll get started on that soon. But the other bottleneck is, I mean, we're only on episode 12 here. This is episode 12 that I'm recording. And although we have gotten a lot of stuff done in these 12 episodes, there is a lot of stuff I just don't have. I don't even have a prismarine farm yet, so I don't have any of the prismarine blocks. I don't have a lot of the end blocks. I don't have a lot of the nether blocks, at least in bulk. And some of the blocks that I do have, a lot of them I just don't have in bulk enough to fill single shulker box worth. But yeah, massive storage system like that is definitely on my to-do list at some point in the coming episodes. At least get an initial run going. Maybe pick out a location, because I definitely don't want it, as convenient as it would be to be right in my main base, I have a bad feeling it's going to be pretty laggy. So I think probably putting it somewhere where it won't constantly be loaded and running all the time, and then I can just go to it and pick up a full shulker box whenever I need. So anyway, let's get on to some building today, some actual sort of fun building, not just farm making. So I think I have a good design idea for how I want to do this bridge. I want to get some actual support structures in and cover it up so it's not just this big, ugly sugarcane farm. All right, so we're definitely getting somewhere. I do really like these pillars. I try to do some interesting texturing on them, so they're not so boring, because pillars in Minecraft, they can get pretty boring pretty easily. So I think I have a bit of a color palette picked out. So again, I'm just really digging this sort of random texturing that I've been doing. So I think I'm gonna do it again. But I want it to look a little less natural. I want it to be a little more structured, you know, because it's going to be a bridge. And I don't want it to purely be gray palette. We're going to have some lighter tones with the diorite and some darker tones with the polished basalt. Oh yeah, and in the meantime, I've done quite a bit more work on this space. I've got some walls filled in with the, again, more of the texturing. So we got, I think that's magenta, terracotta, and then the warped, no, crimson stuff. But I just want to empty out my inventory so I can get some resources. I do have this super lame little setup for converting, making concrete. Blocks go flying everywhere, but you know what? It's fine. It works well enough. So I didn't wind up using the darker basalt blocks, but I think for, I guess we would call it like a base coat, I think I like it. It's a little bit bland and repetitive, but I think once the tough blocks come out, I'll be able to add a little bit more detail to it. But I think it turned out pretty well. But I quite like the way this looks, and it definitely looks better than it did before, at least. But anyway, guys, this video is getting a little long. We're running out of time here, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.